Hello and welcome to Please Expand. I'm Helios Rockney and I will be your host. So this is an introductory episode and I'll just say a few words about the podcast, about how you can get involved with the podcast, and how you can support the podcast. So Please Expand combines two great passions of mine, reading and discussing. In this podcast I will be interviewing authors of non-fiction books that I have found fascinating. The aim of the interviews is not so much as to give a summary of the books, but rather to dig deeper into what each author is trying to say, and to reflect on the questions that they presuppose or provoke. After each interview, there will be a brief segment of post-interview reflections. Anyone who has ever interviewed anyone, or even just had a discussion, will be familiar with that realization of, oh, I could have asked that, or, that would have been a great response. And this is really what the post-interview segment is all about. It's not an attempt to get in the last word on my interlocutor, but a moment to think further about things, and to open up avenues for discussion. The interviews are undoubtedly central to Please Expand, but they are not all there is. As I said, the interviews, and indeed the books, are a springboard for further discussion, and I would like to have that discussion with you, my listeners. To that end, there is a forum on my website, and I encourage all of you to write down your thoughts on the books or the interviews and to engage with each other. It goes without saying that I'll be there too. In fact, I plan to kick things off with every episode by posing a little question that was raised by the book, or by writing a short piece inspired by it. You don't have to read the books to participate. Indeed, the interviews are not focused on details as such, but on grander questions that are prompted by such detail. And the same goes for the forum discussions. That said, I obviously encourage you to read the books, and just get stuck in, because they're all just brilliant. For those of you that do want to follow the podcast by reading the books, I have a full schedule of the episodes that I will be releasing for the first season of this podcast, as well as a list of all the books that I will be reading for the second season. That's going to start in around October 2022. I know how hard it is to find time to get in some quality reading, and so I'll do my best to give you as much notice as I can of what I'm planning to read. Right, so let's get to the 5 books that I will be discussing for the first season of Please Expand. They are The Boundless Sea by David Abelafia, The Light Ages by Seb Falk, The Invention of Science by David Wootton, The Life and Death of Ancient Cities by Greg Wolfe, and The History of the Bible by John Barton. Each of these books is a world unto itself, and I cannot recommend them enough. Finally, I'd like to say a bit about how you can support the podcast. The most obvious thing you can do is to subscribe and rate on whichever platform you use. You can find a whole range of podcast platforms on the subscribe page on my website, and if you use a platform that I'm not currently linking my podcast to, please let me know in the comment section and I'll be sure to rectify that as soon as possible. You can also support my podcast with PayPal donations by going to the support page on my website. Finally, Please Expand is on Twitter, @PleaseExpand with just one E joining the words together. Please do follow me so as to stay updated on all the latest material. Thank you very much for listening to me. I really do hope you enjoy what I have in store for you, and welcome to Please Expand.